If you're a man over 30 looking to lose your belly fat, you might have noticed that as you age, it just tends to stick around that bit more despite your hard effort, okay? And this is because it's like you're dealing with something called visceral fat. See, visceral fat is that deep layer of fat that sits around your organs. Too much visceral fat is caused by being, number one, highly stressed, but it's also linked to things like cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and even metabolic dysfunction. Now, the good news is it is possible to lose your visceral fat using these 5 simple steps. These are the 5 steps that I've used personally with 798 one-on-one clients living worldwide. And the best thing is, it doesn't require any fancy equipment, there's no fad diets or quick fixes, there's some things that you can implement immediately. Now, if you are new to the channel, my name is Adrian McDonnell, I'm a full-time online health and fitness coach. We help business owners, CEOs and corporate professionals lose weight sustainably using our metabolic priming method. So step number 1 to lose your belly fat is to clean up your environment. And I'm speaking about 2 main types of environment. The first one is your kitchen environment. Basically what I'm saying is if a food is in your house, sooner or later it's going to be eaten. So just eliminate all the junk food. You want to increase the resistance to get more hyperpalatable processed foods and make it as easy as possible to make healthier choices. So for example, put a bowl of fruit on the table, okay? Have high protein snacks go to there for you when you open the fridge. Don't have things like the biscuits, okay? Don't have things like processed cereals in your press because it's going to be eaten. But then also I'm talking about your body environment, and specifically 2 things I would like you to reduce for the next 30 days. First thing is alcohol and secondly is trans fats, because both these things are highly inflammatory, meaning they cause inflammation in the body, okay? So alcohol, I'm sure you know what alcohol is. Trans fats are found in things like takeaways, fast food, okay? Highly refined carbohydrates and ultra processed foods. And I promise you, if you remove these for 30 days, you will reduce a lot of your inflammation. In fact, I just had a one-on-one check-in call with one of my clients, Wayne, and he just completed his first month. Inside his first 30 days, we reduced his alcohol intake, reduced his trans fat intake. And one of the biggest changes he found, on top of losing 3 kilos, is that his skin feels much, much better. He's not as bloated, okay? And he looks and feels much better too. That is because these foods are pro-inflammatory, meaning they cause a lot of inflammation in the body. That's why I recommend eliminating them for at least 30 days. Now, when you eliminate these foods and focus on number 2, that is fix your gut, you will start looking and feeling much, much better. So there's 6 ways I want you to fix your gut. First of all is you want to consume more fiber, 25 to 30 grams per day. And you want to consume both soluble and insoluble fibers. So soluble fiber are foods like oats, apples and pears with the skin on, whereas insoluble fiber are things like nuts, whole grains and leafy greens. And fiber is so important for not only your gut and your digestion, but also promoting regular bowel movements, okay? You will know if you're ever feeling constipated in the toilet, one thing we recommend our clients to do is to increase their fiber intake. Now, on top of this, you also want to have more prebiotic and probiotic rich foods. So prebiotic rich foods are things like onions, garlic, mushroom, whereas probiotic rich foods, these are things like 0% fat Greek yogurt. Amazing. And not only is it good for your gut, it's also an amazing source of protein. On top of things like sauerkraut and kimchi. The benefit of having probiotic and prebiotic foods are they feed your gut microbiome. And that's why also pillar number 5, that is having high volume, low calorie foods is super, super important. So play this out now, all right? When you want to lose weight, the ultimate goal should be to eat as much food as possible while staying in your calorie deficit. So, for example, you could have 300 grams of strawberries. 300 grams of strawberries, that's going to equate to less than 100 calories, about 96 calories. On the flip side, if you had just 17 grams of peanut butter, okay, so compare this out now, 17 grams, 300 grams, same amount of calories, but such less volume of food. Another example is something like 1.5 Oreo or so contains roughly 100 calories. So you want to have foods that are really, really low in calories that you can eat a lot of. And that's why foods like berries, watermelon and leafy greens are so effective for helping you stay fuller for longer. And then finally, to fix your gut, so important, just drink more water, okay? I bet if you're watching this video and finally to fix your gut, just drink more water. So what we recommend our clients to do is drink at least 30 to 50 mils per kilo of body weight. And a good test of this is by midday. When you use the bathroom, your water should be clear, okay? If your water is very, very dark, it's an indication that you are dehydrated. So that's why make sure you're drinking enough water every single day, and it's an amazing way to improve your digestion and also fix your gut. However, change number 3 of losing belly fat, walking more, is an absolute game changer. Honestly, I only started walking more in the last 5 years and I've built my leanest ever physique. So what we recommend our clients to do is get at least 8,000 steps in a day if you want to lose belly fat. Now, if you're serious, I would up this to 10 or even 12,000 steps a day, but a minimum of 8,000. In fact, 8,000 steps a day was a method we use with one of our one-on-one coaching clients, Carl, and he lost quite a lot of body fat and quite a lot of visceral fat. If you are, though, a time-poor, busy working professional, and you think that, like, God, 8,000 steps, that's a lot of walking, okay? What I'd recommend is the Japanese interval method of walking. I actually started doing this more frequently in the last month, and I can say I feel much leaner and I feel much better. Essentially how it works is it lasts for 30 minutes. And what you're going to do is 3 minutes of slow or moderate pace walking and then 3 minutes of fast walking. And you're going to do that for 5 rounds. Okay, so 3 minutes slow, 3 minutes moderate times 5. That's 30 minutes total. And the research does indicate that can nearly be as effective when it comes to fat loss as walking 10,000 steps a day. But regardless, just make sure you're getting your steps in, a super important way to lose belly fat. Then when it comes to losing belly fat, look, the most important thing is going to be pillar number 4, and that is a protein modified calorie deficit, okay? Because losing belly fat does not come down to doing more crunches. It comes down to controlling how much you eat and how many calories you consume. Now, one thing we recommend our clients to do is have a protein modified calorie deficit. What that means is you want to have a high protein diet while losing body fat. Why is protein important, especially if you're losing body fat? Is because you want to maintain as much muscle as possible while losing belly fat. And protein is also more satiating than carbohydrates or fats. Here's also an interesting fact. Protein has got a higher thermic effect to food, meaning that the more protein you eat, the more calories it burns in digestion. So let's just say, for example, you had 100 calories worth of a chicken breast. 20 to 30% of those calories are actually lost in digestion, meaning that after you consume those 100 calories of chicken breast, it actually might only equate to 70 or 80 calories. In comparison, carbohydrates, about 5 to 10% of the calories are burned in digestion, and dietary fat, only 0 to 3%. So that's why you want to have a high protein diet, but most importantly, you want to consume food that have a good calorie to protein ratio. What that means is you want foods that are quite low in calories, but quite high in protein. So again, I'll use an example. In fact, this is something I coached my one-on-one client Tamim on, okay? He was a feckin' devil for eating peanut butter. Now, we'll just use peanut butter and a turkey breast as an example, okay? 100 grams of peanut butter, 597 calories, 29.7 grams of protein. In comparison, 100 grams of lean turkey breast, 147 calories and 30 grams of protein. So I'm essentially getting more protein with the turkey breast than the peanut butter for 4 times less the amount of calories, okay? Or if you want to put it another way, 4 times more the amount of calories in 100 grams of peanut butter than there are in 100 grams of turkey breast. That's why you want to consume foods that have a good calorie to protein ratio. Then finally, when it comes to losing belly fat, okay, when you do the first 4, you don't want to have a soft marshmallow tummy afterwards, okay? So that's why you need to do some structured core work. Now, I'm not saying doing core work helps you lose belly fat. You cannot spot reduce body fat. But what you can do is you can target where you want to build muscle. And for some reason, when it comes to the core, everyone trains it differently. It's like, if you want to grow your legs, you're not just going to do 100 bodyweight squats. You're going to add load. You're going to add some weight. But when it comes to a core, people just do 5-minute or 3-minute planks, 100 crunches. It's like the same principles that overload apply. So if you're training your core this week, I want you to follow these 4 principles. First of all, you need to do 4 kinds of movement. The first one is one that brings your hips towards your ribs. So think of something like a hanging leg raise, okay, or even a reverse crunch. The next is the opposite of that, one that brings your ribs towards your hips. That could be something like a weighted crunch, or even my preferred one, a weighted cable crunch. Then you want to train your core rotationally. So one of my favorite exercises is a weighted pad-off press, okay? You essentially will do this with a cable machine or even a resistant band. And then finally, when it comes to the core, what's the number 1 function of the core? To protect and stabilize your spine. That's why training for core stability is really important. So you want to be doing exercises like planks, like dead bugs, like side planks, that essentially resist movement and force you to focus on core stability, okay? And if you do those 5 things, just to recap, so number 1, you clear out your environment, your kitchen environment, your body environment. Number 2, you feed your gut properly, okay? Have more soluble and insoluble fiber, okay? Eat more prebiotic and probiotic rich foods. You do something we call volume eating and you drink lots of water, okay? Number 3, you walk at least 8,000 steps a day or try the Japanese interval walking method. Number 4, you've got a protein modified calorie deficit, and I should have said as well, I like a 40-40-20 split, something like 40% of your calories from protein, 40 from carbs, and 20% dietary fat. And then number 5, you train your core in those 4 specific ways, okay? You can lose a lot of belly fat quite quickly if you are consistent in just 30 days, okay? So give this a try. They are the action steps. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did find it helpful, you want to see more like this, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you want to message me on Instagram, my Instagram is Adrian_MacLifestyleFitness. If you just message me belly fat YouTube, I'll send you over my ultimate stubborn belly fat guide that covers things like your training, your nutrition, your recovery, sleep, supplementation, all in more detail, completely free. But that is all for this video. Hope you found it helpful, and we will catch you in the next one.